There is a moment in everyone's life when the world seems to collapse. The floor beneath your feet gives way. The dreams you once held tight slip like water through your fingers. It is in this moment that most people stop. It is in this moment that the seeker begins. The seeker could be anyone. It could be you. A mind filled with ambition, a heart full of hope, and a spirit untested. And then life delivers its lesson: failure. Not just a small stumble, not a temporary setback, but a collapse so deep, so consuming, that it feels like the end. The failure does not announce itself with fanfare. It whispers first, in small disappointments, in closed doors, in opportunities lost. Then it shouts. It shouts when relationships falter, when investments vanish, when your own reflection feels like a stranger, and the seeker is left with nothing but questions. Why me? Why now? Why everything I believed in has crumbled? The seeker sits in silence. The mind, heavy with doubt, spins 1,000 dark scenarios. The body, exhausted from trying, wants to surrender. The soul, once vibrant, feels numb, as if life itself has turned its back. Most people in this position do not rise again. They do not see the light beyond the storm. But the seeker is different, not because he is stronger, richer, or luckier, but because he remembers one truth. The universe tests those who are meant to grow. Pain is not a punishment. Pain is a teacher. And so the seeker begins the first small step, not toward success, but toward himself. The first step is acceptance. The first step is humility. The first step is acknowledging that failure is a mirror, a reflection of the parts of him that need rebuilding. The seeker learns to embrace the stillness. He walks in the empty streets at dawn, listening to the rhythm of his own heartbeat. He reads words that challenge his mind. He breathes through discomfort, allowing it to teach him resilience. Each small act, each moment of discipline, becomes a brick in the foundation of his rebirth. The seeker learns that freedom is not given. It is not found in wealth, titles, or approval. Freedom is earned in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when temptation whispers, when every part of you wants to quit. He begins to rebuild, not by chasing what he lost, but by creating what he can control. He discovers that his mind is the most powerful tool he possesses. And just as a blacksmith hammers iron into steel, the seeker hammers his thoughts into clarity, his habits into power, his actions into momentum. He experiments, he fails again, he learns. Every mistake is a lesson, every setback is a teacher. The seeker learns to separate fear from logic. He learns to listen not to the chaos outside, but to the quiet strength inside. This inner voice, soft yet persistent, begins to guide him, shaping decisions with precision, patience, and purpose. And slowly, imperceptibly at first, things begin to shift. Doors that once seemed closed now open. Ideas that once seemed impossible now take shape. The people who doubted him begin to notice a new presence, a calm, unshakable force, born not of ego, but of endurance. The seeker learns the power of time. He discovers that patience is not weakness, but strategy. Success is not instant. It is the accumulation of countless deliberate actions, repeated consistently over days, weeks, months, and years. And in this rhythm, he finds confidence, a quiet, resilient certainty that he is no longer defined by past failure. The seeker discovers the alchemy of gratitude. Even amidst struggle, he finds the small victories, a sunrise, a lesson learned, a task completed. He understands that life does not owe him comfort, but it does offer growth if he chooses to see it. Gratitude becomes fuel, discipline becomes habit, vision becomes purpose. And then comes the moment that changes everything. Not a sudden epiphany, not a miracle, but a moment of recognition. I am free. I am not bound by my past, my losses, my fears. I am defined by my persistence, my courage, my ability to rise again. The seeker smiles at his reflection. The mirror no longer shows weakness. It shows strength. It shows resilience. It shows someone who refused to quit, even when quitting seemed inevitable. He reaches out to the world, not with desperation, but with clarity, not seeking approval, but offering value. His failures have become wisdom. His struggles have become empathy. His freedom has become purpose. And the world begins to respond. Opportunities arrive, not as luck, but as consequence. Relationships deepen, not by chance, but by authenticity. Projects succeed, not by magic, but by mastery. The seeker's journey is a map for anyone willing to endure. A blueprint for transformation that requires no external validation, no shortcuts, no guarantees. It asks only for one thing: courage. The courage to face your darkest hours. The courage to endure. The courage to rise. Because failure is not the end. It is the beginning of understanding. Because freedom is not a gift. It is the result of deliberate action, repeated in silence, in struggle, in solitude. Because you are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by what you do next. Every failure you face is a seed. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt is the soil in which your freedom grows. You cannot rush it. You cannot fake it. You must nurture it. You must honor it. And then, one day, you will stand unshakable and realize that everything you endured was preparing you for this very moment. The seeker teaches us that freedom is not escaping pain. It is transforming it. It is stepping into the fire and letting it forge you, refine you, elevate you. It is understanding that the darkest chapters of life often lead to the brightest revelations. And as the seeker walks forward, he carries no fear of falling again, because he has learned that even in falling, he can rise. Even in loss, he can create. Even in failure, he can find freedom. This is not a story about luck. It is not a story about talent. It is a story about resilience, about courage, about the silent, relentless pursuit of growth. It is a story about the seeker in all of us, waiting to rise, waiting to reclaim life, waiting to transform failure into freedom. And so, if you feel lost today, if you feel broken, if you feel as though the world has turned against you, remember the seeker. Remember that within you lies the same power to endure, to rebuild, to rise. Every failure is temporary. Every night ends in sunrise. Every storm gives way to clarity. You have everything you need to find your freedom. You have everything you need to rise again. You are the seeker. Your journey has only just begun. Because freedom is waiting, and you are ready.